All right, let's continue on with our Zoe and Sassafras. We are on Chapter 3, Stream Trouble. My mom and dad were getting lunch ready in the kitchen. I sat down in my chair at the table with a frown on my face. "What's wrong, Zoe? Didn't you have fun at the stream?" Dad asked, taking the seat next to me. I shook my head no. I looked and looked, but there were no stream bug babies anywhere. "You mean nymphs?" Mom called over her shoulder. "Oh, right. That's the word I kept forgetting. Nymphs. Yeah, no mayfly or caddisfly nymphs anywhere. Seriously, I'm super good at bug hunting. I even had my underwater viewer. I guess they all turned into adults at the same time and flew away." I sighed loudly. My mom stopped what she was doing and sat down with me and Dad. I sat up a little straighter in my chair. "No, they wouldn't all turn to adults at the same time," she said. "That's why we usually find different sized nymphs when we go. Some are newly hatched and tiny, and others are about to become adults and huge." "Did you see anything else unusual? Like a lot of algae?" I rubbed my hands on my pants at the thought of it. Yes, it was super slimy and cold. It kept sticking to my hands. Mom and Dad looked at each other. Why are they so serious? Then Mom said, "Sweetie, we need you to wash your hands and feet really well." "My feet too?" I whined. My stomach growled. "Can I do it after I eat? Why do I have to do it now?" "Do you remember your mom telling you why our stream has so many mayfly and caddisfly nymphs?" Dad asked. I nodded. "Yes, because our stream is really clean. Mayfly and caddisfly babies are delicate. They can only live in waters that aren't polluted with yucky chemicals." My eyes got big as I realized what my dad was trying to say. Oh no, is our stream polluted? Are all the baby stream bugs dead? Dad shrugged. "We don't know yet, but this doesn't sound good." "After lunch, you and Sassafras can go back to get a water sample," Mom said. "We can run some tests to check. But right now, we need you to wash up." I went to wash my hands and feet without any more complaining. As I scrubbed my hands, I felt worried. What if our beautiful stream was sick? Chapter 4, Water Tests. After a sad and quiet lunch, Sassafras and I went back to the stream. I brought a cup for a water sample and my science journal. When we got there, I took out my journal and wrote, "Question: Is our stream polluted? Observations. No mayfly babies, no caddisfly babies." I bent over and scooped up some stream water with the cup. This time, I was careful not to get any water on my hands or feet. I tucked my journal under my arm, and Sassafras and I walked straight back home. We found Mom in her office with Dad. I handed her the water sample I'd carried home from the stream. "Thanks, sweetie. Do you want to help me?" I darted over to Mom's side. I was excited to help, and also a little scared of what the tests might tell us. I was just as worried about the stream bugs as I'd be about any magical animals. Now that I thought about it, I hoped the polluted stream wasn't hurting the magical creatures in the forest too. There's still a chance that the stream isn't polluted, right, Mom? Yes. We won't know until we run some tests. She put kits with tubes and little tablets on the counter. I peeked at the supplies. I loved when my mom let me use the same tools that real grown-up scientists use in their labs. I poked a finger at one of the shiny plastic cards with different colored squares. Mom looked down at me. You're going to use real chemicals to test the water sample. So what do you need for your eyes? My thinking goggles. I dashed to my room, grabbed my lucky goggles, and ran back to help my mom. I usually wore my thinking goggles on top of my head, close to my brain, to give me good ideas. But this time, I used them in the usual way, on the front of my face to keep my eyes safe. Mom opened a tiny tube filled with little strips of paper. Let's test for pH first. Put on the gloves, then fill an empty test tube with some of the stream water. Next, add a strip of paper and watch it. It will change color after about a minute. Once the color stops changing, pull it out and match it to one of the colored squares on this card. I did all the things she asked. It took me a minute to decide which square matched the color of the paper strip. I'm pretty sure it matches square number 10. What does that mean, Mom? Dad shook his head sadly. It means that there is definitely something in our stream. Mom said, a normal stream would be close to 7. Pollution can cause that number to go really low or really high, depending on what is being added. This is a clue, though. We know that whatever was added to the stream has a higher pH number. Let's run one more test to see if we can guess what type of pollution it is. She pulled out a new test tube. This time, I got to put a tablet inside the tube and shake it. The stream water changed from clear to a pretty blue in the tube. Mom and Dad both frowned when they saw the color. It's testing positive for phosphates, Mom said to Dad. Then she turned to me. These results definitely explain why you didn't see any mayfly or caddisfly nymphs. My best guess is that there's some kind of soap or detergent getting into our stream. Uh-oh, messed it up again. I set the tube down with a frown and wrote in my science journal, data, pH equals 10. Something bad is in our stream. Tablet equals some kind of soap is in our stream. Conclusion, our stream is polluted. Just then the doorbell rang, but not the regular doorbell, the magic one. Chapter 5, Magic Doorbell. Mom and I looked at each other and froze. Is that some kind of reminder alarm on your phone? Dad asked my mom. Sort of, Mom replied. The doorbell meant that a magical creature needed our help, but my dad couldn't see the creatures. To him, it looked like nothing was there. This was going to be a bit tricky. I looked at my mom and raised my eyebrows. Zoe, I think I left something out in the barn? My mom raised an eyebrow back at me. Oh, right, that thing, I said. Sassafras and I can get it for you. Sassafras and I dashed outside and through the barn to the back door. I opened it and looked around. My shoulders dropped. No one was there. Then I looked way down. I jumped in surprise. There on the grass, standing on 2 legs like a person, was a shimmering purple frog covered head to toe in neon spots. Could it be? Was this the talking frog Mom had told me stories about? Sassafras pushed in front of me. He closed his eyes and gently bumped his head against the frog. The frog reached out a tiny webbed hand and petted Sassafras on the nose. Hello, old friend. Sassafras immediately began purring. Pip, is that really you? I squeaked. The frog looked up at me. You can see me? And you know my name? Who are you? Ever since I'd seen a picture of Pip in my mom's office, I'd been dying to meet him. I burst out with everything all at once. Hi, Pip, I'm Zoe. I think you were expecting my mom, but I can see you too. I've been helping my mom with the magical animals. Are you hurt? Is something wrong? Oh, let's see here. First, hi, Zoe. Nice to meet you. I was expecting your mom, but you will do. Pip took a deep breath and got a serious look on his face. The merhorses from our stream are in trouble. We don't know what's wrong. Pip began talking faster and faster. Their skin and eyes hurt. They can't find any of their food. They usually eat moonflies, but they can't find any. Mayflies? Right. They said they can't find the march flies under the water anymore. He paused and thought for a moment and scratched his head. Although I'm not sure what that means, I don't know of any flies that live underwater. Well, mayflies start their lives underwater as babies, I said. They have gills and stuff until they get way bigger. Then they actually fly. Well, anyway, there's something going on because all the mayflies are missing. I noticed that the mayflies were missing when I was at the stream earlier, I said. Mom and I just finished running some tests on the stream water. I've got some bad news. It's polluted. Oh no, said Pip, placing 2 tiny webbed hands on his cheeks. I need to see your mother right away. Then Pip jumped onto my head. Ah, that's much better. Humans are so useful. I can always see better from up here. What are you waiting for? Take me to her. I walked back to my house as quickly as I could manage with a frog on my head and a nervous cat winding through my legs. When I opened the front door, I wondered what would happen with my dad there. He couldn't see anything magical. How would we talk to Pip? Maybe I should wait until later? Zoe, Mom called from her office. Did you, find the thing? Oh, uh-oh. Too late to turn back now. They'd heard me come in. I cleared my throat. Yeah, I definitely found something. I turned the corner and my mom's jaw dropped. Pip, is that you? She said. Did you teach Zoe your pretend frog game? Dad asked. In that case, I'll take my own pretend frog to make a snack for us and leave you two to play with yours. He held out his hand and looked at it. Hello, Plop. It's time for an afternoon snack. Would you like to come help me? Yes? Oh, thanks. Dad leaned in closer to his empty hand. Sure, Plop. We can make some dead fly sandwiches for you and your friend Pip. On my head, Pip spluttered in disgust. I would never eat a dead insect. Disgusting. Mom and I bit our lips to keep from laughing. We had to work hard to hear Dad over Pip's shouting. Plop and I will be in the kitchen. Will you 4, join us soon? Mom cleared her throat. Let us clean up in here first, then we'll come join you. Dad nodded and left, carefully carrying his handful of air. My mom turned back to Pip, who had hopped down to her desk. He was standing there with his arms crossed. Ugh, he sighed. I thought he'd never leave. And really, Plop, what kind of name is that? I'm so glad to see you, Pip. Mom kissed him gently on the head. I'm glad to see you too, Pip said, but we need to get to work. Mom frowned. I was hoping you came to visit. Is something wrong in the forest? Pip flailed his arms around. It's the merhorses. They have red spots all over their skin and scales. They're having trouble breathing and their eyes hurt. They can't find enough food, and so he says the stream is polluted. Mom clapped her hand to her mouth. Of course, the other creatures in the stream must be suffering, including the magical ones, those poor merhorses. Seeing my mom so upset made my stomach hurt a little. What were we going to do?